So let's do another best of. I've done one of these before, but manufacturers keep releasing new clubs, so we're gonna have to keep doing them, aren't we? So we've got the Cobra King Tour, we've got JPX 921 Tour, Titleist TS100, Maverick Pro, Taylormade P7MC, Srixon ZX7, and the Ping Eye Blade. We're gonna hit them collect numbers, we're gonna talk about price, we're gonna talk about feels, sounds, looks, which one is the best iron in this category that I still can't name because they're not blades but they kind of feel like blades, and they're not cavity backs but they are cavity backs, but they're not like chunky ones. It's that real medium iron, isn't it? And the other thing to note in this section, there's loads of other clubs that could have been included. I've got the T100 S, could be the T100, could also be the Titleist CB. You've got Mizuno MP range has 1 or 2 irons in this category as well, but I've gone with the JPX 921. But hopefully from the clubs I've selected, there's one that you might be thinking of buying, and how they compare, and how do you get the right choice, and all those kind of things. And hopefully this video will touch on some of those ideas. Let's start as we normally do with the looks and feel of all these clubs. The first thing that's really noticeable with them is how close, like they're all really ticking that kind of good looking little bit of help bracket. Now there's a few standouts between them. Now subject to what you like, the Ping and the Mizuno JPX 921s both stand out because they are this kind of brushed satin finish, not as chromed as the others. So again, depending on what you like the look of. For me that changes from day to day. I like the look of both, I could gain both. When it comes to blade length, the Cobra probably has the longest blade length, which is maybe my least favorite. The kind of cutest blade length, like the nicest looking blade length, you definitely go in Ping, it's really nice and cute. Titleist T100, definitely, again, nice squat blade length, and then the Taylormade MC is looking really nice. When it comes to top lines, if you want really thin top lines, Titleist, and I think that's the Titleist, is it? Yeah, the Titleist and the Taylormade stand out. Really sharp top lines would blend really well with bladed clubs, I think, if that's what you want, but you might be someone who goes the other way. Something like the Maverick Pro here has a medium top line, nice squat blade length, like it's a standout good looker. When you put this down in the batch of clubs, I think a lot of people would like single this one out. So it's just really interesting how you can't really, like they just blend so much. There's so many clubs in this bracket, isn't there? Right, I'm gonna hit 3 shots with each club and then change, and then another batch and another batch, just to try and keep the data even across the 3 as I, or even across all the sets as I warm up and fatigue a little bit, because there's quite a lot of clubs to be hitting here. So T100 S to kick us off, looks absolutely great down by the ball. You get the chroming, you get the thin top lines, the nice small blade length, you get classic looking, good Titleist, classic appearance. It sounds solid, it sounds good. I think you could choose the CB very easily in this bracket, but the reason I've chosen the T100 is I think more people will be looking at this club than CB is such a smaller audience, but it is definitely maybe a bit closer to the blade, I agree. And I've gone for the S as well. We're going to show you dynamic loft delivered of each club to see what difference it makes. So the S is the stronger lofted over the standard T100. So for me, you know, if you think it should be the standard T100, post in the comments down below. I just quite like the look of the S, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it translates in the dynamic loft delivered. Because again, for this one, I'm not really going to be looking purely at the longest club I hit. There's so many other factors that come into play, isn't there, when you get to this kind of iron. But that does just feel very, very solid. Let's go to iBlade next. I think this is quite standout for Ping, because obviously it's quite a change in direction for their irons over the last few years, which is quite exciting to give clubs with ferrules and really sharp looking pretty looks. Blade length's beautiful. I like the white line-up line at the bottom that you get on Pings, and I also love the squat blade length with these. Again, we're going to look at the dynamic loft delivered, but I think this is the most lofted in the group. So again, try not to think of this as a who's hitting it, which company hits the club the furthest kind of test. For me, it's so much going to be more about feels, looks. They're going to be very close to each other. And if I was that cut up on loft, I would just get them tweaked in my custom fit, you know, get a slightly stronger version of loft on these. I'm hitting 7 irons, remember? you could hit a 6-iron. Because if the lofts are coming out different delivered, then that's actually all you're doing. Ignore that number on the bottom to a certain point. Difference in feel between Titleist and Ping, next to nothing. Arguably this has a slightly duller sound, which makes it feel that little fraction softer, but it's uber close. JPX 921 tall, fraction longer blade length, nice thin top lines on the top. Beautiful looking, slightly off chrome finish. Obviously we get different forging and lots of shouting about the forging in this one. It does feel soft, it feels nice. Maybe stands out a little bit over the Titleist, but certainly not over the Ping, believe it or not. Like this and the Ping are very, very close in feel. Right, as I hit one more with JPX, shall we go and have a little look at the tech with Matthew in his lockdown home. So this is filmed before lockdown, now we're both in lockdown, unfortunately. Anyway, let's go and look at the tech. Right, tech time. We're in a lockdown in England. We weren't when we started filming this video, we are now. So say hello, Matthew.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
We've got Matthew on the phone. Let's talk tech. Let's start with the Taylormades first. What are they doing?
So we've got the compact grain forging, so carbon steel forged, torque-inspired shaping, inspired by the best players, DJ, that lot, machined face and grooved. And grooves
for precision
and muscle cavity performance.
Cool. And then what about the Maverick Pro from Callaway?
Flash face cup technology, which has been in their clubs for quite some time now, hasn't it? And they're using artificial intelligence, their AI. Tungsten energy core for optimal launch, and urethane microspheres for unprecedented feel.
Okay, so a little bit more jazz going on in that one, isn't there?
Yeah, big words going on, maximising COR and things like that.
And then Cobra, the King Tour, which definitely has a certain unique feel about it.
Yeah, so it does say pure shaping and feel to start off with the MIM, which means metal injection molded. And that's all they've really got. They haven't really shouted much about anything on this club apart from the MIM.
Yeah, they've gone for it on the feel, haven't they? And that has been a standout one for me on feel over, as I've tested this twice now, this club. Okay, classic iBlade. Been around for a while. It was a bit of a shocker when it came out because it was one of their first iterations. What have we got going on in iBlade?
High speed face, so a thin face that yields greater ball speeds and high trajectories. Activated elastomer. I think that's the bit in the back of the club, isn't it?
I think that's feel and sound dampening as well, that kind of idea, isn't it?
Tungsten weighting on the end of the toe of the club.
So still got their traditions of trying to heel and toe balance it, but obviously in that kind of player's package.
And also a workable sole. Always find that one quite funny when they start talking soles. I've never been able to feel a sole yet.
I agree, soles are out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
JPX 921 Tour.
We have stability frame.
Yep.
So toe weighting biased again on this one, and harmonic impact, so the feels and sounds also.
Yeah, they've always done studies on harmonics, on sound. They've always put that in their marketing as one of their things to give it that nothing feels like a Mizuno idea.
Feel impact for a friction longer thanks to the thicker cavity pad.
Yeah, so a fraction longer on impact it says, doesn't it? Which is, good luck feeling that. That club is used by Brooks, or I don't know if that one's gone, but that club has had a lot of love from uncontracted players, it must be said.
Yeah, Mizuno do sneak in the uncontracted players' bags, don't they?
What's always so funny with Mizuno is they struggle to keep their paid players on contract, their big ones, yet people who aren't contracted, oh hello, what are you doing in this tour truck?
Yeah,
oh, just never you mind, putting that camera off, they come in. Srixon ZX7.
Tour cavity, mass repositioned to ZX7 sweet spot, and perimeter provides remarkably soft feel. So similar phrases going on. Progressive grooves. So grooves in the 8-iron through the pitching wedge are sharper, narrower and deeper compared to the longer irons. A taut VT sole, they're shouting soles as well.
They all do a bit of sole loving.
Multi-piece construction. Tungsten in the toe as well, like the other companies.
So all of these companies are really trying to balance that, that gap, isn't it, between they want it bladey looking and feeling to let's give them as much help as we can without making it look ugly almost. And the last one then, the Titleist T100 S's. Remember, I've used the S in this test and we're going to present dynamic lofts as we go down. Titleist T100 stroke T100 S. Same, different lofts.
And shock horror, there's tungsten in the heel and toe of this one as well for perfectly balanced loveliness.
And sole, they love sole.
Oh yeah, faster, smoother turf interaction. So they've got an epic sole on the bottom as well.
I love a good bit of sole.
And that's the tech.
Lovely, thank you. Welcome back, ZX7. So I game this set of clubs. Now what's interesting with the ZX7, you do get a lot of face down by the ball. So if you compare it, say, to the Taylormade here on top, you basically get less silver here, which makes it look like you get more face, certainly up in this corner. So it does make it feel like it's a bigger head. Like when I put them together, that's not actually really the case. So I think sometimes in looks, there's so many little tricks in the shaping that make you think something's bigger or smaller and those kind of things, when actually physically isn't. Which again is why you wouldn't really be looking at a distance game like this like you do in the driver, because you're actually being tricked half the time on what's really down by the ball. So an idea of that, just by shaping the top edge of this slightly different, means the light hits it in a different way and it makes it look like it's thinner. Even when the actual thickness of the top line is exactly the same, it will just look thinner from different shapes. Again, ZX7 feel. It's just not going to be, I don't think there's going to be a standout. The Callaway might, because it works so hard with AI and feels and stuff. This one just really fits into the pack as a forged, soft feeling iron. Definitely close to Mizuno and the Ping. So if I had to say anything, the Titleist is possibly the firmest sounding, but it's like fractional. This one looks nice down by the ball. You definitely have a little bit more top line. And like I say, you do see more face, which some will like, some won't. The King Tour next. So maybe the longest blade length out of all of them. Still looks nice. This one did feel very, very good when I tried it. Again, this one's working on feels and sounds, and it does. It sounds, it's just got a slightly different feel and sound to it, which I really like. Apart from the slightly longer blade length, the top end, it looks very Titleist in its groove pattern to top line, actually, the way it kind of bleeds off, which makes it look, even though it's a bit longer, nice and thin on the top line. And it's a beautiful sound, which then in turn, it is a real standout on the feel, this one. Got that a fraction out the bottom, but it's still done pretty good, and it still had that nice clip to it. Right, Maverick Pro next. Like, this is gorgeous. It's so nice in its look. It's a standout in its class. It is good looking. Got that slightly toey, so we'll hit another one. It gives a different clip when you hit it out of the toe, maybe a slightly higher pitch. Yeah, this is more on a par in sound with the Titleist. This doesn't sound as soft. It's got that higher pitch clip. It feels firmer. It just feels like it wants to shout a bit louder. I'm just seeing the loft down here in front of me. Yeah, it definitely wants to shout a little louder. I mean, it feels nice. But if you wanted soft feeling, forged feeling, that kind of stuff, not sure this one's going to tick that box. Before we go to round 2 of hitting, finishing on the MC, Taylormade. P range of irons from Taylormade over the last X amount of years has to be the standout improvement in class as well. Like, that is just beautiful down by the ball. And this one in feel, I think falls into the classic forged feeling soft bracket. It's with the Mizuno, it's with the Ping, it's with the Srixon, it's with whichever other one I'm forgetting. It's not Titleist, it's not that slightly high clip. It's not with the Callaway, it's with the Cobra. It's just ticking a lot of boxes, this. It's like push, that just feels so good. This has to be one of the best irons out there at the minute. Looks, feels spot on. Right, should we go and look at prices? So I'm gonna hit one more with this and we'll go back round before we have a look at the numbers as well. Let's go and check out all the prices of these clubs. What are you getting for your money? Let's start with some pricing, Matthew, over there at Lockey Towers. What's the pricing looking like? Quite similar, or is there any massive gaps?
They are very similar, actually. Most of them are within £20. So you've got the Taylormade at £859.
How many irons are we talking about for this? Do you know?
They're all 6. These are all 6 iron sets.
6 iron sets. So. Yeah. Pitching wedge 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Pitching wedge to 5 iron, which is fair. I don't know many people who should be gaming 4 irons nowadays. It's interesting though, isn't it? 6 iron sets. That's a lot of money, isn't it? Because you've still got a lot of other clubs you have to buy, haven't you?
Yeah, wedges, the lot, haven't you? That's like building up. So Taylormade, King Tour, the JPX 921 Tour, the Srixon and the Titleist 859 to 879.
Okay, so it's the same. There's not. You could bargain that down. You could barter that down, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And then you go down to the iBlade at 699, and then you go down even further to the Maverick Pro at 659.
Cool. The Maverick Pro is a
£200 cheaper.
Well, that is a big difference. That you got that price right, or are you doing like mates rates? If you come through the Matt Lockey affiliate link, you can get it for that. Are you sure that price is right? Do I have to check in the comments down below? Is Matt fudging this?
Use Coach Lockey code to get 20% off. No, honestly, that is right, because I guess that their apex is going to be up near their 800 mark, isn't it? But that's a solid price. That's like an extra hybrid in there, isn't it, with your price?
Right, back round we go. Titleist again, definitely winning on looks. Might be a little thin on top for some people, but looks really good. Post comments down below. What do you think? Who's going to win on the numbers? And also in the comments down below as well, what would make a winner in the numbers? What is it that does it? Is it that you want distance? Is it that you want spin, higher and lower? Like, it's going to be so different for so many different people, which is why it's so important you go and test them. Back to the iBlade. iBlade wins on squatness of design, slightly different looks. And it's going to be the highest spinner because it simply is the highest lofted, I think. Certainly presented loft, I reckon, will be the highest out of the group, which then I'm guessing static loft is as well. But this is beautiful looking and sounding, stroke feeling. It's just solid, but soft as well. JPX. Again, it's that slightly longer blade length, but you have got the MP range as well, which you could dial into. Oh, it's stand out as well for feel. Has to be said, it's that cliche, but Mizuno feels so good. Like so good. Loving that. ZX7. Again, thing with this is you do see more face. Definitely the standout is that you see more face down by the ball. So you're going to get that kind of appearance of the friendlier looking bridging club. And again, the feel of this is just in that Callaway, it's in the Cobra Mizuno ping range. It's solid, soft, not too pingy. It's like true-ish feeling. Does give you good feedback. I hit that right in the middle. It just feels good. King. So I'd say the King Tour and Srixon ZX7, maybe the two bigger underdogs in this field. Not the easiest clubs to test, but both have standout feels. I think the Cobra does look, apart from the slightly long blade length, the whole grooves and the way the light hits at the top edge, it's beautiful. It's as good as anything. Oh, it's a line ball. Don't you dare. Oh, nearly. Maverick Pro. Definitely the loudest with the Titleist. Definitely one of the best looking clubs I've ever hit. It's just gorgeous looking. Definitely is clippy though. You ain't gonna get this if you want forward soft feeling. Right, a few more with the MC and then we're looking at the numbers. Taylormade's just a standout, all package good. Looks, sound, feel. If you want thin top lines, it's got it. If you want soft feel, it's got it. You want a bit of help, it's got it. You don't want too long a blade length, it's got it. Does feel blooming lovely. Let's check out these numbers before we have a conclusion on which ones we might choose. So looking at the numbers, we can't get them all on one compare sheet. So what I've done is I've got the Titleist and the Callaway, the two firmer sounding ones, which we'll put on a different sheet and compare in a second. So what we're seeing, ball speeds from the Taylormade slightly higher than anything else. If we go into dynamic loft, the lowest lofting is the JPX, 26.8, and then 26.9 from the Taylormade, which is where I would see a little bit more ball speed coming with strikes worked in as well. Highest lofted standout delivered is the Ping iBlade at 128. So I'm imagining we're going to see more spin with that and more or less distance. So 28 degree loft, it's the highest lofted of the group. That's delivered loft. So if we look at the spins, the iBlade does spin the most, 6,000, so you could say truer. Then in turn, it's the shortest, followed then by JPX Tour. Longest is the one that delivered the least loft, so 172 yards on the Taylormade, which then in turn delivers, I imagine, the least amount of spin, that with the JPX very close to it. But look how close they all are, apart from the Ping. And the Ping is simply delivering a degree to 2 degrees more launch, apart from these two. Ball speed's very similar across all of them, apart from the jump in Taylormade, obviously, because of that slightly lower loft delivered. Like, they're falling into the brackets of what you'd imagine these clubs would do. So let's just change the comparison here. Let's go Callaway, keep the Taylormade in, and pop the Titleist in. So these are longer ones, look, you can see ball speed's higher with all of them. Remember, you've got the lower lofted in the the T100 S, but spinning decent, 4.7 compared to 4.8 compared to 5.1. So outside, these are getting into the 6,000s just above with a 7i, which is what I am, 500 to 1,000 less than the number. If we look at delivered loft, Titleist 25, Callaway 25, and then Taylormade very close with the 26. So these are the three least loft deliveries, which in turn is why we're seeing the distance and then the spin dropping down and the distance jumping up. So if we switch this over to the other lofted clubs, 27, 28, 27, 27, 26.8. So these are very, very close, all that kind of degree to 2 degrees, was it, higher in loft delivered. And then we're seeing them really bunch up with the iBlade just coming out that fraction shorter, because look at the spin model, it's slightly higher. So if it comes to choosing on the numbers, well, if you want, you've got loads of distance and you want to keep spin up on your irons, you're going to go with the Ping, aren't you? Because you're going to get your own distance and the spin's going to be kept up because they're not de-lofting it. If you want them to bomb, you're going to go MC, and you're going to go maybe the Titleist in the S, and you're going to go into the Callaway. So I mean, winners and losers here is going to be, you're going to have winners for certain people and losers for certain people, and then in turn you're going to have to blend that with all the looks and feels as well. Which one would I choose for me, and which one would Matt help choose for me? Just out of interest, let's go and check out. I mean, for me, if I was choosing, I wouldn't be able to choose very easily. I would be very much choosing on what I want branded in my club, I think. You know, as in my bag, I like this brand. I like looking like the players I respect or whatever. I think that will play its part. When it came to feels and sounds, I think the Callaway was the most removed feel and sound from this bracket. It was clippier, it was a different sound and feel, so that might make me want to spend the more on the others if I wanted a precise sound and feel. Would that make me play better golf? Well, it wouldn't. The Callaway at its price would be hard not to choose. The Taylormade on its look would be hard not to choose. I think the whole P range looks so good, feels good, and the numbers were just solid. Like, they're iron range since P of just some of the most impressive improvements in an iron range, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to struggle to pick, to be fair. I'm going to struggle to pick anything from those. I mean, I game the Srixon ZX7. I like the look and the feel of it. It's a slightly bigger face on it. There's more face down by the ball. You know, as much as I would say go and buy the Srixon doobie-doo, there was nothing in that stood out over anything else for me. They were all very similar. I think it's the price of the Callaway and then the stronger lofts is something I would just have to work in. Hard to choose. I think you've just got a lot of really good clubs in this bracket. Matt, for you?
Yeah, I would say, like, looks-wise, they're all great looking clubs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Even like the Ping, that's sometimes a little bit out there, is a good looking blade. Price wise, Callaway wins for me. Like £200 is a lot of money, isn't it?
Well,
so,
considering the
like,
performance is, apart from you not wanting a lower lofted club where for whatever reason you want, you know, you need peak heights up there or you need your spin to sustain. Yeah, and then the feel of it, the price of that is remarkably less than the others.
And I'm tight, so like I'm gonna save my £200. So it's really hard. Like, it's what you want to spend. I think if you've got a brand alliance, you're probably going to go with your brand that you love. So performance wise, you can match anything up with lofts and things these days, can't you?
Yeah.
And you can also blend. Like, if there's a good blending option in the set that you like, that could be a swayer as well. But I would say that all companies are pretty good at blending as well now too, aren't they? So
yeah, I think that's a really good point though. I think that's a really good point. Like, the companies that are better at blending in that set, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the comments, the Titleists are easily blended, the Mizunos are easily blended. You've got to remember they've got like X amounts of JPX and X amounts of the MP range. Like, they've got so many irons, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Srixon's really easy to blend from the 5 to the 7. King Cobra Tour maybe a little harder to blend possibly, and maybe the Taylormade a fraction harder to blend because it does start getting quite fiery, and maybe the Callaway, but again, I think you could still find options in all of those to blend if you were that really keen on doing it. But I think that's a really good point, Matt. It's something that should be considered because, you know, I mean, the days of getting fit for individual clubs is coming. These companies have to find a different angle to the other people. And to be fair, if you want the best set of clubs for you, and I've done videos on this, and if they're not already released, got some really interesting ones on this, fitting each individual club is as important as getting the driver's fit that you all go for and spend a lot of money on. I just thought what was interesting was how close they all were. Apart from the Callaway is the slight outlier on both ends. Price, amazing. And then sound and feel was slightly out the bracket, but like you say, they've got Apex and stuff, which would fill this bracket as well. So, I mean, I can't pick one. I guess you're picking Callaway on price, and then apart from that, you're struggling, are you? Or, I mean, the Taylormade stands out as a good looker, doesn't it?
Price because I'm tight, that's it.
Here we go. Post comments down below. Which one would you choose and why? Which ones would you like us to test more of? Is there ones on this list we've missed out and you'd want us to test more? And would you like us to test some other brackets of irons, like from the chunky down to the blades? We've done others, but they're changing also regularly. You know, with releases, we can always update them with the new ones. Let us know in the comments down below, as always. Thank you, Matthew. They should hit the like button, shouldn't they, down there? They should give it a thumbs up, shouldn't they?
Yeah, like, thumbs up, hit that bell, get all new notifications of when we upload new videos.
Subscribe, comment, buy Srixon, and that kind of stuff.
Endless. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe. Speak to you all soon.